Italian food is Italian culture, especially. Besides art, besides even sports, Italian food, we love making food, we love eating good Italian food.
Basta, solo quella da prendere.
Noi non usiamo pesticidi. Se entra cibo sano e coltivato come lo coltiviamo noi, non mi fa paura. Se entra prodotti lavorati diversamente con fitofarmaci o con prodotti chimici, quello mi fa paura.
They are useful on the side because they kill all the stuff they are having bad factors on vegetables. I'm a little afraid of abusing them.
Nostra premura qui nei mercati informare chi viene a comprare i prodotti da noi che cosa sta comprando, per cui che il prodotto che compra è locale, è prodotto secondo un certo tipo di disciplinare, noi siamo biologici certificati, per cui siamo noi i primi a dire al consumatore di informarsi e di conoscere insomma quello che compra.
As a consumer, I feel very strongly that we have to be using the safest of products.
La possibilità che entri del cibo estero in Italia globalizzato a me non fa paura. Forse perché facciamo una coltivazione leggermente più mirata, quindi i consumatori, i clienti hanno la possibilità di scegliere cosa mangiare. Se vogliono mangiare italiano e coltivato in una certa maniera sanno dove trovarlo, se vogliono mangiare altro sanno dove andare a trovare.
With the government and the industry and the consumers involved, we've gotten rid of a lot of the negative chemicals that we just do not use anymore in the United States or Europe. We have an environmental specialist and she'll look typically at specific ingredients to make sure when we look at how they might be applied on the field, that everybody has a good understanding of how much you can use and when, whether or not the wind speed has to be below 12 miles an hour, whether or not you have to wait to spray until before it's going to rain and all those things, or after it rains so that it doesn't run off.
Il mio lavoro è in sostanza sullo sviluppo di utilizzo di tecniche per ridurre l'uso di insetticidi in frutticoltura. In Italia sono più di 50.000 gli ettari di frutta difesa con questa tecnica perché funziona e perché in effetti consente di ridurre enormemente il numero di insetticidi e dare la possibilità poi ai frutticoltori di centrare meglio l'uso di insetticidi. Quindi sono fondamentali per chi vuole fare un'agricoltura diciamo moderna e rispettosa dell'ambiente.
I think that Italy shall do a step backward, but I think that this is almost impossible considering competition in agriculture generally speaking, especially in Europe. We have very strong competitors, so I think that the only way to do it is finding a compromise between old heritage in agriculture and use of pesticides. There are some European provisions about GMOs, but I don't know exactly how they work. It's something that regards chemistry, and this is for sure, but it's something that general consumers are not aware of, especially in Italy.
So biotechnology, the process, obviously there's a long history. One I really approve of, fermentation of wine and cheese, which was the original biotechnology, very well used in Europe, and a lot of my European friends, we laugh about the origins of biotechnology are really in French and Italian wines and cheeses.
We grow both genetically modified seed and non-GMO seed for Wyffels hybrids too. So It's not a one for all for one kind of thing. You can vary things on your farm and everything will be just fine.
That out of the 20,000 enzymes in that soybean plant, the company was able to tweak one so that it could prevent a lot of weed pressure using a very benign, very safe chemical.
When you look at the science of it, it's okay. This marks 20 years since genetically modified seed has been commercially available to farmers. And we've had yet to have any incident relating to animal health, human health, that's a negative towards ingesting an ingredient that may have come from one of these crops. Because it's still a seed, and a seed still needs to be cared for. Mm-hmm. It needs nutrients, it still needs water, it still needs sun. These seeds just happen to have maybe an extra layer of immunity.
I have seen that it changes production. They use less chemicals, they use less tillage, they can use less fertilizers in some cases, and some years where we even had a drought, they actually were able to grow corn with less water, and it was sort of a side benefit.
I will not denounce GMOs as a demon for local tradition, local food, or slow food movement. But I'm afraid of being overused, just like pesticides.
The products are so carefully controlled until they're actually planted that it really gives me a great sense of confidence.
Tu fa l'americano, americano, americano, senta a me chi t'o fa. Tu vuoi vivere alla moda, ma se bevi whisky e soda, poi ti senti disturbato. Tu abballo rock and roll, tu gioca a baseball, hai sorte per caramella, chi te ridà la borsetta di mamma, tu fa l'americano, americano, americano.
Sì, ho sentito qualcosa, non mi sono ancora documentata a fondo, però sì, ho letto qualche articolo e insomma, sì, a grandi linee si conosce, anche perché non sono resi pubblici proprio tutti i documenti, per cui ancora non c'è una documentazione reperibile su internet.
I worked on it a long time ago when I lived in Washington, and it wasn't yet the T-tip, it was called TAFTA. We call this T-tip the highest standard agreement that we can have. It has very strict requirements between trading partners because we're very developed nations, and it will allow for kind of a gold standard to be developed.
Sarebbe un abbassamento degli standard della qualità del cibo che circola a livello di grossa distribuzione.
European food companies constantly tell me that our labeling for food products is very complicated and very hard for them to meet.
For me, the United States has one of the safest food supplies. We have such a rigorous system in which our farmers have to operate, and the fact that if something bad does happen, we can trace it back to the field, the row, and maybe even the plant that this issue started with is amazing to me.
In linea di massima io consumo quello che produco e quello che non riesco a produrre lo compro ai buy local. So, sì. Questo mi permette di essere al riparo, no, da certo tipo di merce che può entrare.
But I prefer local products because I know exactly where they are from. And also in Italy we have a lot of local varieties of products which are available only regionally speaking.
It does kind of force maybe farmers in Europe where they have smaller farms to really think and strategize about what is their business model long term, and if they wish to be viable in the future, they really have to kind of go for that niche market. Same things happened here.
The trend will make a big problem for local farmers. Tomatoes cost less all year and even more beautiful to see, randomly perfect, red. A local farmer will be punished.
Personalmente a livello di piccole produzioni, piccole aziende, più di tanto chiaramente non verremo influenzati da questo tipo di accordo che coinvolge più che altro l'industria agroalimentare.
I think that right now, thanks to this treaty, people are becoming more cautious about these threats. But again, there is nothing that the consumers can do.
So I think it's a very transparent process. You just have to be really patient and diligent to look for the information. Because I know in Italy, you know, a lot of it's about really local and fresh from the farm, and lots of fresh herbs and tomatoes and cheeses and wines. And I used to work with the olive oil growers a little bit there, and there's very much a food heritage in Italy, even more so than some of the other European states.
Generally speaking, I think that Italian society must be more aware, because food is something that really belongs to Italian culture. So it's a pity that people don't know anything about these new technologies, these new techniques.
Tu fa l'americano, americano, americano, senta a me chi t'o fa fa. Tu vuoi vivere alla moda, ma se bevi